Hello, welcome back. It is Jack Mack, High Top Sports Georgia, and boy, do we have another big game, another good game for the Dogs this Saturday night. Tennessee coming to Athens between the hedges. Game day is going to be there. What is it, the third game day game for Georgia this season? Unbelievable. This schedule, I don't know who we hurt, whose girl we messed with to get this toss status this season, but here we are. Laughable selection show with the committee, laying out the 12 best teams. Laughable where they put Georgia. No respect with the schedule. Going to get into some of that. But obviously our focus, our attention, and the focus of Georgia in the locker room is Tennessee coming into town. Got to win. Georgia's already got 2 losses in a must-win scenario. Worked out for Ole Miss. They picked up their second loss a little earlier than Georgia, but as Jackson Dart said, got to win out. No other choice. Only a few more games left, but some big ones. Got to beat Tennessee and got Georgia Tech, who's looking better than usual at the end of the season. So going to cover all sides of the football and really where I believe Georgia's going to separate themselves. I'm not going to foreshadow anything. I'm going to pick Georgia to win this game, but where I believe Georgia wins this game, I'll get into detail on that. But like I said, cover all sides of the football, some talk about the feel everywhere in the country as this playoff hunt is in full swing. Got some respect. I know I just mentioned some disrespect with where Georgia was placed with the rankings, but got some respect with some ESPN pundits. I'll get into that, as well as some things I don't like and what I'm hearing within our own, be your own people, within the Georgia fans talking about. I mean, look, I've been front and center, not a big fan of Carson Beck, but what I'm hearing goes a little bit beyond that. So going to get into some fan talk and talk from around the country. So this show, as always, brought to you by BetUS. Last week gave you Georgia Tech as a winner. I mentioned on last show, recapping Georgia's loss to Ole Miss, that I have an upset pick for you. I'll have that for you for real this time at the end of the show. Feel really good about it. Going to make it 2 in a row. While I'm thinking about it, tomorrow, obviously, I do another show with JT Seekerman, Tennessee Vol ex-player himself. That comes out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But first, my takes on this. We'll start with the problem area, offensive side of the football. Good news. I'll start with the good news where we can find it, right? With the weather. Looks like we'll have clear skies. Don't have to deal with what we dealt with in Oxford with the rain, slippery footballs. So clear skies, but what we need to do, and I'm not even going to go into what I've been saying every week, reverting back to under center, play action, making it easy, because I don't think that's going to happen. But one thing that I know for sure is Carson Beck is going to have to, the load will be on his shoulders this week. Looks like ETN and Cash Jones, most productive running backs thus far this season.
Of course, this show is brought to you by BetUS. And when you use the code YouTube150 at betus.com on your first deposit, you get back 150%, up to $2,000. Now, you can gamble on NFL, college football, basketball, baseball. The World Series are coming up. We got college football at an all-time high. Heisman winners are going back and forth. Who's going to win the SEC? Who's going to win the Big 12? All kinds of things. You can literally gamble on anything you set your pretty little mind to. And on your second and third deposit, you get back 125%, up to $2,000. So be sure to go check out betus.com. Use the code YouTube150 to take advantage of these offers while they still last. Now back to the show.
Are both questionable. So we may have no choice but to allow Carson to throw the ball 50 times a game. I don't think we're going to allow it to get to that point where he has to do that. I think our defense is going to play really good and really win us the game. On the defensive side of the football at night, I just think that we're really going to thrive off that. But offensively, Carson looks like, based on the injury report, he's going to have to do more than what he did last week. It wasn't enough, obviously, throwing these screens every other play. So I expect a more downfield passing attack. Dylan Bell, Dominic Lovett, they have to get going. No better time than now. for Beck and Bobo to silence the naysayers this week at its boiling point. Because really, I mean, he couldn't have played worse last week at Ole Miss. He's been getting worse each and every week. Regression. We talked about it on the post-game show. He's regressed from last season. There's no doubt about that. Haven't seen anything. A little bit disappointed, not going to lie, out of my Georgia faithful with maybe a fake girlfriend hoax, Manti Te'o style, I should say. But didn't see any of that. A little disappointed, but hey, maybe Carson Beck plays good, but hey, we know we have that in our back pocket. We may need to put the pedal to the metal, throttle down on the fake girlfriend stuff if this game doesn't go to plan. May not matter if we lose, but come on, guys. Need to see some drama. But Carson Beck played well this game. Looks like you're going to have to with these running backs being out. Bobo, prove yourself. I mean, all the memes with how much we miss Monken, and boy, do I miss Monken. Stetson Bennett. Do I miss these guys with how bad our offense looks right now? I do. Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey. I mean, I'm just I can just see Ladd McConkey just juking Alabama players in that SEC championship game, and haven't seen anything close to that for Georgia this season. Sorry, holding back tears almost, but Bet Carson, my man, $3 million. I know you've had a tough schedule. We've won enough games. You've won, we won Texas. I know you didn't do anything to win that game, but we've had a tough schedule. Right the wrongs from this season. Play good. Beat the old SEC East foe. I know the SEC East doesn't exist anymore, but let's show them we still own the SEC East, so to speak. Beat Florida. Let's beat let's beat 10. I'm going to get vulgar here, but let's beat Tennessee. The orange brings it out of me. We beat Auburn. We beat Florida. Let's beat Tennessee to round out the orange, and Clemson at the beginning of the year. So let's beat them. And wrap up just the rivalry section of the SEC play this season. So really, besides going into, everyone knows that listens to this, watches this show, I think we need to go way more old school. Take the football out of Carson Beck's hands, no matter who's playing running back. If it's Frazier the whole time, it's Frazier the whole time. Play action pass, I'm completely fine with that. Play off of our defense, really get back to playing some good complementary football. But Lawson Lucky, Dylan Bell, instead of doing the screens, still mixing the screens, slants a little bit further down. I'm not asking for a ton of deep balls. It's weird. We went from Alabama game, a bunch of deep balls, a bunch of plays way down the field, truly a 7-on-7. And we've slowly reverted back to last week. And the weather did play a big part, but the screens. So many screens. So let's not go all the way to just doing all screens. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. Slants, mid-range. And I know this is my first year doing this with everybody, but I don't want to be the type of person that goes over X's and O's. But to me, it's elementary, the things that I'm talking to you about. We can't run 20 screens a game. That seems obvious to me. So button hooks, slants. I need to see some more of that. Easy throws beyond screens for Bobo in the offense this week. And again, protect the football. That goes without saying. Got to protect the football. Cannot put our defense in precarious situations too often. Honestly, now that we're playing at home, I would not mind some weather, some rain, some elements. I think Georgia would thrive. I mean, we saw what we did to that Tennessee offense a few years ago when they were at their best with Hendon Hooker. It was in the rain. Our defense, ate them alive. They were talking about 30, 40 points. How is Georgia and Stetson going to keep up? Well, we could have kept up if, Tennessee made us, but they did not. So that would have been nice. But I think our defense is better. They're not better than they were 2 years ago, but Tennessee's offense is 2 times as bad. So let's get into that side of the football. Nico, a couple days ago, JT, who I'm doing the Tennessee podcast with, Tennessee show with tomorrow morning, Friday. He told me a couple days ago that Nico is not playing. Looks like Nico now is expected to play or he's questionable, regardless of who's playing quarterback, Nico hasn't looked very good. We had the debate a little bit, but Nico's not very good in my opinion. He looked good against Tennessee State and North Carolina State. ACC is pretty much the Sun Belt's, the non-Power 5 group of 5 schools. He's NC State's pretty much one of them. Or ACC might as well be a group of 5 conference is what I'm trying to say with football. So against a good team, check Nico's numbers. Really, against SEC teams, Nico has done abysmal, played abysmal. Florida, abysmal. Alabama got lucky, bailed out. Should have been losing that game by 3 touchdowns at halftime. He played very similar in that first half to what Carson played like against Alabama in that first half. The difference was Alabama capitalized, and they were up 28-0. So Nico has not impressed me. So I think they might have a better chance to win. I was kind of thinking this and talking about this with Penn State when they played Ohio State. They may have had a better chance to win that game with their backup. I watched that Wisconsin game, and Bo Privola, I think is his name, was an animal. Was giving me what's his name? The old Penn State quarterback, Hackenberg. Not Hackenberg. Trace McSorley. Trace McSorley was giving me Trace McSorley vibes. I think he would have given Penn State a better chance to win than Drew Aller against Ohio State. And obviously that offense was struggling mightily at home. I kind of have the same vibes with Gaston Moore and the backup quarterback for Tennessee. So Nico playing or not playing, I don't think matters that much. As you saw, the line opened at 8, and he's not playing. Now he is playing. Line's still at 10, and I don't see much movement. Maybe it goes down to 9, 9.5, but I don't think it goes back to 8, in the 8 range. So definitely over a touchdown spread. I love the dogs there with that number, like the under. Don't think there's going to be a lot of points. Both defenses are very good. But back to my point. Sorry, I get sidetracked. But with that side of the football and our defense going against Tennessee's offense, whoever's playing quarterback, I think we're really going to be able to get after them. We let up 22 points and we lost against Ole Miss. But with how our offense played, that defense played exceptional to only let up 22 points. I mean, there was so many 3-and-outs that Carson Beck set that defense up with. I don't want to say just Carson Beck, him and Bobo. Bobo is just as much at fault as Beck and those wide receivers with those drops. But the defense played exceptional. Created a turnover on the first drive. I mean, with the way they started the game, sack, pick, I thought it was going to be another Texas-type performance. But they didn't play bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think they get back to that Texas type of mojo at home, at night, under the lights. I was in Tuscaloosa this year. Alabama has their own little light show. Good for our players. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of recruits at that game to see that light show. It's going to be exceptional. I think ours is a lot better than Bama's. But I think our defense is really going to thrive off that. Kirby, I think, is really trying to make the identity of this team defense, and we needed to. I still stand by the fact that this team is going to win or lose a national championship by how Carson Beck plays, but still the identity of the team is defense. Solid defense and create turnovers, opportunistic. That's the identity of this team, and this team goes as the defense goes right now. But in the playoff, we're going to need better quarterback play. That with football at any level, you're going to need better quarterback play. So, better quarterback play than what he's displayed, that's for sure. But with that being said, the Georgia defense is still a championship level defense. And I think they really flex their muscles and get the media on Monday morning saying, on a neutral site, how is anybody going to mess with Georgia? I really think that's going to be the takeaway after this game. Miscellaneous, Georgia fans, be better. Everyone the world's on fire because of the 2 losses, how we play. Look, you heard my reaction. I'm not happy about how we played, how Carson Beck has thrown the football. But we won 2 out of the last 3 national championships. Calm down. We still control our own destiny. We've had the number one, even ESPN and Mike Greenberg was yelling about this. We've had the number one strength of schedule. We've played 4 top 10 teams, 3 of them on the road. So calm down. We're going to be all right. We're coming back home. If we lose this game, sure, scream all you want. But give our boys the benefit of the doubt to come home and win this game in front of their fans. I mean, they've earned that. Kirby's earned that. So I need to hear more optimism out of the Georgia faithful. We've gotten a bad rap sometimes about our fans. Shelton on the main channel mentions it as the new breed Georgia fans, even mentions me as a new breed Georgia fan. Even though I was there for 2012, I had some bad experiences. But anyway, we don't want to be fair weather. We don't want to turn into Alabama fans, Georgia. We need to, when things are bad, talk about, what we need to improve on, but don't throw in the towel. And these guys, need to be fired. Maybe I'm big on no mid-season firings unless things are really bad. But talk about all that stuff at the end of the season. We still got a lot to play for. Everyone knows that. So let's stop acting like Bama fans. 1 or 2 losses. Fire everybody. Is Kirby the guy? Switch quarterbacks. Let's be rational, okay? We're smart football fans. We're still okay. We're going to win this game. I think we're going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. Go ahead and get into my prediction. I think it's going to be 41-10 Dogs. Defensive touchdown. I think we get a Malachi Stark scoop and score. Book that. I think we get a Dan Jackson 2 weeks in a row, maybe picks. So we're going to be just fine. I mentioned Mike Greenberg. He even had issue with Georgia being 11th, or the team outside, first spot out, looking in to the playoff. He was like, Georgia, look just pointing out Georgia's schedule. Be like, how could you put this team out? Look at their win. They got the best win on the road at Texas. And I agree with them. I try not to get too wrapped up in the selection show at this point in the season because we, like I said, still control everything at this point. So let's beat Tennessee. Let's beat Tech. And we're sitting pretty. Last thing that I did mention on the pregame or postgame of that Ole Miss loss is win this game. I think the best thing for us is to miss the SEC championship. We've had a gauntlet of a schedule. Played 4 teams inside the top 10. We want to win the national championship. Make no mistake about it. We want to win the SEC championship and the national championship every single year. But this season, with our schedule, with 2 losses, I don't know. There's so many teams in the SEC with 2 losses that I don't really know what the tiebreakers are, especially, if we beat Tennessee beat Bama, Bama beat us. I don't know how that's all going to work out, who's going to go play Texas, assuming Texas wins out. But the best thing for Georgia is to not play in that SEC championship game. Have 2 losses. Not have a chance to win a third. I know they say they're not going to penalize you for not having for playing in the SEC championship or playing in your conference championship and getting a loss. They're not going to penalize you for it. But I call BS. Georgia was what were they? Undefeated last year. And they lost in what? The SEC championship. And what? They were not in the playoff. So I don't want to hear any of that BS. I would rather sit the SEC championship out than have a chance of losing and not be in the playoff. I like our odds in the SEC championship or in the playoff. Because like I mentioned, I can't say 52-0 anymore, but 52-1 is still pretty damn good. 52-1 since COVID, since Kyle Pitts against all teams but Bama. So we may have to play Bama. That's fine. We'll beat them. We'll get those bugaboos out of here next time we play them. But, let's not the end of the world if we skip out on that SEC championship. If we get in, let's go win that thing. We can beat any of it. We can beat any team in the country. I'm not worried about it, but I think the best route for Georgia is to obviously got to win out and miss the SEC championship game. So we think check my notes. Anything else? Carson, protect the football, man. No breakup. Unfortunately, defense. Yeah, I do believe we're going to get a scoop and score from Starks. I think Dogs cover. It's going to be because of the defense. You're going to have to throw the football probably more with maybe Cash Jones and ETN out. So Frazier, going to be his coming out party. And it's going to be a real test because Tennessee has a really good front line. Their defensive line is the best since Heupel's been there, at least probably since I've been alive. Their defensive line. This is the best defensive line in a long time. So running the football may not be an option. So Carson, it's going to be his game. It's funny how it all works out. Not very funny. It's very worrisome with how Carson's played. Progressively getting bad. Tennessee's not the team you want to go against. But I think being at home is really going to help us out, especially on defense, but help settle Carson down. Those road environments, he just does not suit him, I'll say. But upset pick. I'm going to keep it to it's got to be a ranked team. It's going to be money line every time, but it will be always a ranked team that I'm betting against. So this week it's going to be Navy. They're 7.5-point dogs against Tulane, who's 25th. Navy money line, book it. I think it's plus 220 right now. So bet US, go put that in there. Parlay it with Georgia minus 9.5. Buy it down. I like it. Buy it down 9.5 rather than 10. The football number. But I think Georgia's going to win comfortably. I think, keep it at 10 if you like. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns. I'm not going to touch the total. It's a little close for comfort there. So just bet the dogs. Like Navy with the upset. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to be back Sunday this time, Sunday mid-afternoon with my reaction to a Dogs victory. Thanks for watching. Like, comment what you think. Score predictions, everybody. Georgia and the Dogs. And even your thoughts on this playoff rankings that just came out. You think the Dogs are getting disrespected or you think it's fair? And we'll see you Sunday.